Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the book that he's read this week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, the book I've read this week is this one. It's called Bad Deeds by author Andrew Hunter Murray. Was published as a hardback by Hutchinson Heinemann here in the UK on the 11th of June 2026. And it's another adventure for Alex the interloper. Who dat, I hear you say. Well, in the previous book by Andrew Hunter Murray, this one, called A Beginner's Guide to Breaking and Entering, we meet a guy called Alex, and he's what's known as an interloper. He breaks into people's second homes and stays there. He's not a burglar. He doesn't do any damage. He just stays there. And this book, which I reviewed on the channel, in fact, have a look at the review if you will, I enjoy reading it because it's a little bit, it's witty, it's funny, and so when I saw that Bad Deeds had been published and it's another adventure for Al the interloper, I wanted to buy it and I wanted to read it, and I'm glad I did. So what's Al up to in this one? Well, in the first book he was, as I said, breaking into people's houses as an interloper. Now he's moved up a gear. So this book opens with Al. He starts to refer himself as Alex because when sending emails, Al looks like AI, and he kept on getting people saying, "Do you get ChatGPT to write your emails?" So he refers to himself in this book as Alex, and the tale is told via Alex's perspective. So what's he up to now? Well, Al has gone from being an interloper, and he's gone sort of legit. He's working with his three friends, Jonny, Amara, and her sister Elle, and they set up a company called Prometheus. And they do security, they do penetration testing. Al wanted to call the company Pro Penetrators, but got voted down. So it's called Prometheus, and they're doing reasonably well. They're getting jobs where they test large organisations' security, and they try and find holes in both their cyber security and their physical security. So all is going reasonably well. They're working together. Al struggles a bit because he's a bit of a loner, so the other three want to grow their company a bit and make it a bit more corporate, and he's not so sure. So he describes the outfit as Jonny being the brains, Elle being the heart, M being the balls, and he says he's probably the spleen. He doesn't sort of know where he fits and what use he has, but he comes in handy sometimes. So they're doing all right. But the book starts off on a bit of a downer because Al is in a relationship with M, and that relationship's not going anywhere really because he doesn't really, he sticks by his rules that we saw in the first book: never tell him your real name, your birthday, never give too much away. So she never really knows him. So they end up agreeing that it's probably best if he leaves the company. So he's thinking, well, now I'm got a girlfriend anymore, gonna have to find myself a flat, gonna have to find myself some work. I know what I'll do. I'll just have a look on the company's records, see if there's anything worth doing that I can do as one last job. And he finds a job that's been dismissed by the other three, and thinks, well, one last job, what harm will it do? Turns out this is a job from a company called Ballista, who are a large real estate company. Their security chief wants a bit of penetration testing on one of their executives, a guy called Jack Denver. And the mission, should he choose to accept it, for Alex is to break into their buildings. He breaks in as disguised as a bin man. The idea is to put a keylogger on the executive's desk and just find out what's going on. This all goes a bit pear-shaped, and Alex is caught whilst doing his testing, if you will. The local security throw him out. He gets referred to the police. He gets a call from the NCA. The NCA is like the UK equivalent of the FBI, saying, "What are you up to again? Didn't you have enough the last time?" He says, "No, right, okay, sorry, don't know why that went wrong. There's something dodgy going on here." He's then he contacts the rest of the crew, Jonny, M, and Elle, and said, don't know what's going on here, but something's suspicious. So he takes on a job with M's help for Jack Denver, the executive who he was supposed to be spying on. And Jack Denver's going, "There's something going on here. Somebody's trying to stitch me up. We're just about to do a large property deal. We're buying part of an estate in Scotland called the Findare estate. The Duke who owns it is on his uppers. He's a decent enough chap, but he's made some bad investment decisions, and he can't afford to keep the estate going. So we're going to buy it. It's going to be a massive deal for the company, a massive feather in the cap for Jack. So they suspect that somebody's trying to scupper that deal, but they don't know. So the crew take the job on of finding out what's going on with this deal. And sure enough, there's all sorts of things going on. Dodgy property deals. The thing that worries them the most is there's a guy called Brendan, who is a friend of both the Duke, who's selling the land, and Jack, the executive that's leading the buyout, if you will. They knew each other from uni days. Brendan fell off a cliff on the Findare estate, and everybody's saying, "Oh, suicide," and they're not sure it is. So hence the tale unfolds. We have the four of them, Jonny, Elle, and Elle, trying to find out what on earth's going on here, because clearly there's some nefarious actors in the place, and sure enough there are. We meet people that are on the wrong side of the law, people who are on the right side of the law but slightly dodgy. So lots of bad actors involved, and all sorts of shenanigans going on with the supposed property deal. So it's a really, really good murder mystery. Obviously, the guys themselves find themselves in danger because there are people that will stop at nothing to try and get this deal through, and there are ulterior motives for getting this deal through. That I won't spoil it; that'll spoil the plot. But it's really good. It's funny without being so. It's witty without being comical. There's lots of banter between the four of the guys. Jonny, Elle, and Al. There's self-deprecating humour from Al. It's told from his perspective. And there's also lots of observational humour. While he's being followed in London, he's talking about various parts of London which are now being gentrified, and his comments on that. And he's also following people as well. So it's a really good package. It's a good murder mystery, but lots of humour. And Andrew Hunter Murray does this very, very well. There's also one line which I really like, was that the lady from the NCA who's keeping an eye on Al says, "Okay, so what are Daphne, Fred and Wilma up to at the moment?" And he says, "Does that mean I'm Shaggy?" And she says, "No, you're the dog." So I said, lots of humour, fast paced, well written. He can tell a tale, can Andrew Hunter Murray, and I really enjoyed it. So as I said, lots of moving parts, lots of twists and turns, and a really good murder mystery. I said, full of wit. I really enjoyed it. 424 pages. This is the second outing for Al the Interloper. I have a feeling we may see him again. So that's it for this week's brief book review. Thoroughly recommend it. 10/10 till we do it again. Thanks for watching.